Have you ever witnessed a moment so raw and unexpected that it stops time? That's exactly what happened in the executive office of Meridian Technologies when 5-year-old Lily Jenkins ran across the polished floor, arms outstretched, calling "Mommy" to the stunned CEO, Alexandra Carter. If this story already has your attention, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories that remind us what truly matters in life. 3 months earlier, James Jenkins was drowning. Not literally, though some days that might have felt easier. The 34-year-old software engineer was barely keeping his head above water as a single father to Lily. His wife Sarah had passed away from cancer when Lily was just 2, leaving James to navigate the impossible task of being both mother and father to their daughter while maintaining his job at Meridian Technologies. "I used to be the guy who never missed a deadline," James confessed to his longtime friend Marcus over coffee. "Now I'm the guy who forgets to pack Lily's lunch and shows up to meetings with frozen stickers on his suit jacket." Marcus nodded sympathetically. "Have you considered asking for help? Maybe some flexibility with your hours?" James sighed, stirring his already cold coffee. From Alexandra Carter? The Iron Lady of Meridian? She'd probably fire me on the spot. Alexandra Carter had earned her reputation. At 38, she was the youngest CEO in the company's history and known for her uncompromising standards. Employees whispered about her ice-cold demeanor and laser focus on results. What they didn't see was Alexandra returning to her empty penthouse each night, kicking off her heels, and wondering if success was supposed to feel this hollow. The collision of their worlds began on a rainy Tuesday. James had received an urgent call from Lily's school. She had a fever and needed to be picked up immediately. It coincided perfectly with his scheduled presentation to the executive board, including Alexandra herself. "I can't reschedule this presentation," James muttered to himself, frantically calling every babysitter in his contact list. None were available. With no other options, he made a decision that could cost him his job. He picked up his daughter. Walking into Meridian's glass-walled conference room with a feverish 5-year-old clinging to his neck was not how James had envisioned his career-defining presentation. The executive stared in disbelief as he set up his laptop while simultaneously setting Lily up with her iPad and headphones in the corner of the room. "Mr. Jenkins," Alexandra's cool voice cut through the awkward silence. "I wasn't aware we were hosting a daycare today." James straightened his shoulders. "Ms. Carter, I apologize for the unprofessional circumstances. My daughter is sick, and I had no alternatives. I can either present my work as scheduled or reschedule, but I believe this project deserves timely consideration." Something flickered across Alexandra's face, surprise, perhaps, at his directness. "Proceed," she said after a moment. Halfway through his presentation on a revolutionary customer interface design, Lily's small voice interrupted. "Daddy, I don't feel good." Before James could react, Lily threw up, directly onto Alexandra Carter's expensive designer shoes. The room froze. James's career flashed before his eyes. But then, the unexpected happened. Alexandra knelt down, ignoring her ruined shoes, and placed a gentle hand on Lily's forehead. "You're burning up, sweetheart," she said, her voice transformed from its usual steel to something soft and concerned. She looked up at James. "She needs medicine and rest. This presentation can wait." That moment cracked something open in Alexandra that had been sealed shut for years. Perhaps it was the vulnerability in James's eyes, a devoted father trying desperately to balance his responsibilities. Perhaps it was Lily's innocent trust as she leaned against Alexandra's shoulder in her feverish state. Or perhaps it was the memory of her own childhood, when her mother had worked 3 jobs and still found time to cool her forehead with a damp cloth when she was sick. The next day, a basket arrived at James's apartment filled with children's medicine, herbal tea, and a handwritten note, "I hope Lily feels better soon. Your presentation was impressive, even with the dramatic conclusion. Alexandra Carter." What began as a simple thank you coffee turned into weekly lunches. Alexandra found herself drawn to James's humble determination and his obvious devotion to his daughter. For his part, James discovered that beneath Alexandra's professional armor was a woman with a sharp wit and unexpected kindness. When Lily recovered, she insisted on thanking the pretty lady who helped when I was sick. Alexandra awkwardly accepted a crayon drawing from Lily, the first artwork anyone had given her since elementary school. It now hung framed in her office. Over the following weeks, Alexandra became a regular presence in their lives. She taught Lily how to braid hair, something James had never mastered, and James taught Alexandra how to truly laugh again. She helped him organize Lily's chaotic schedule, and he helped her remember there was life outside the office. "Why do you work so much?" James asked one evening as they walked through the park, Lily running ahead to chase pigeons. Alexandra was quiet for a moment. "I was raised by a single mother who struggled for everything we had. I promised myself I'd never be that vulnerable. Success became my security blanket. And now?" She watched Lily's joyful dance around the fountain. "Now I'm wondering what I've been missing." The transformation in Alexandra was noticed throughout Meridian. The Iron Lady implemented a comprehensive childcare program for employees and flexible working arrangements for parents. Productivity soared, and employee retention reached record highs. At home, James watched in amazement as Lily blossomed under Alexandra's influence. His daughter, who had known only pictures of her mother, now had a strong female figure who taught her to stand tall and speak her mind, but also how to twirl in pretty dresses and bake cookies from scratch. 2 months into their friendship, James received a promotion to creative director, a move that raised eyebrows among colleagues who whispered about favoritism. Alexandra addressed the rumors directly in an all-hands meeting. "Merit is our only consideration for advancement at Meridian," she stated firmly. "Anyone suggesting otherwise is welcome to review Mr. Jenkins's contribution metrics, which speak for themselves." Later, alone in her office, James confronted her. "I don't want special treatment." "And you've received none," Alexandra replied, not looking up from her computer. "I would have fired you months ago if you weren't exceptional at your job." He laughed, recognizing the glimpse of the old Alexandra that still surfaced occasionally. "I'm taking Lily for ice cream to celebrate. Would you like to join us?" She surprised herself by saying yes. It was during this ice cream outing that Lily first called Alexandra Mommy. It happened naturally, without prompting. Lily dropped her cone and instinctively cried out, "Mommy, help." Alexandra froze, ice cream forgotten, as she looked to James with wide, uncertain eyes. James knelt to help Lily with her fallen treat, his expression unreadable. Alexandra excused herself quickly afterward, convinced she had overstepped an invisible boundary. For 3 days, she avoided James and Lily, burying herself in work. When James finally cornered her in her office, she spoke before he could. "I'm sorry. I never intended to replace Sarah. I'll step back if that's what you need." James looked at her for a long moment. "Is that what you think I want?" The question hung between them, loaded with possibilities neither had dared to voice. 3 weeks later, during a board meeting to discuss quarterly projections, 5-year-old Lily Jenkins burst into the executive conference room, having escaped the company daycare on a mission. She ran straight to Alexandra, arms outstretched, calling "Mommy," loudly enough for everyone to hear. The board members stared. The CFO's mouth actually dropped open. Alexandra felt the blood drain from her face as she instinctively caught Lily in her arms, looking helplessly at James who had rushed in after his daughter. "Mr. Jenkins," said Walter Bradshaw, the 70-year-old chairman of the board, "perhaps you could explain why your daughter is addressing our CEO as the mommy?" The room fell silent. All eyes turned to James. He took a deep breath, looking first at his daughter, happily nestled in Alexandra's arms, and then at the woman who had transformed both their lives. "Because," James said quietly, "children recognize love before adults do." Alexandra felt tears spring to her eyes. In that moment, surrounded by spreadsheets and profit margins, she realized what true success felt like. The fallout from that board meeting was significant, but not in the ways anyone might have expected. Walter Bradshaw, the stern chairman, was the first to congratulate them. "My wife of 50 years was my secretary," he confided. "Best decision I ever made was ignoring company gossip." Alexandra and James took things slowly, building a relationship based on mutual respect and the shared love of a little girl who had already decided they were a family before they knew it themselves. Alexandra learned that true strength wasn't about never needing anyone, it was about being brave enough to let people in. James discovered that honoring Sarah's memory meant allowing Lily the fullness of love, including a mother figure who adored her. 6 months later, Alexandra implemented Meridian's groundbreaking Family First initiative, transforming the company into a model of work-life balance. Applications for positions tripled, and employee satisfaction reached unprecedented levels. "It's simply good business," Alexandra explained to the financial press, though everyone who knew her recognized the change ran deeper than corporate strategy. On Lily's 6th birthday, Alexandra officially moved into their home. That night, after Lily fell asleep surrounded by new toys, James found Alexandra on the balcony, looking at the stars. "Having second thoughts?" he asked, joining her. She shook her head. "Just thinking about unlikely journeys. A year ago, I thought success meant corner offices and quarterly returns. And now?" Alexandra smiled. "Now I know it's measured in bedtime stories and sticky hugs." When James proposed 3 months later, it wasn't a grand gesture in an expensive restaurant. It was a quiet moment at home, with Lily holding the ring box and jumping with excitement because she'd been in on the secret for weeks. Alexandra said yes before he finished asking the question. On their wedding day, Lily served as flower girl, ring bearer, and self-appointed family maker. During the reception, she tapped a spoon against her juice glass until the room quieted. "I have 2 mommies now," she announced to the gathered guests. "One in heaven who Daddy says watches over me, and one here who braids my hair and teaches me to be brave. I think I'm the luckiest girl ever." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. 1 year after that fateful board meeting, Alexandra Carter Jenkins sat in the same conference room, now with a photo of her family beside her laptop. Meridian's profits had increased by 30%, employee turnover had decreased dramatically, and the company had been named one of the best places to work for parents by Business Weekly. "Your family has changed you," observed Walter Bradshaw during a private moment. Alexandra smiled. "They haven't changed me. They've revealed me." That evening, as Alexandra helped Lily with her homework while James prepared dinner, she marveled at the journey that had brought her here. Success no longer felt hollow. It felt like this: homework questions and dinner preparations and the sound of laughter filling every corner of their home. "Why are you smiling, Mommy?" Lily asked, looking up from her math worksheet. Alexandra brushed a strand of hair from her daughter's forehead, her daughter, in every way that mattered. "Because I finally got the promotion I didn't know I wanted," she replied. Sometimes the most powerful positions we'll ever hold have nothing to do with corner offices. Sometimes they're simply labeled Mommy. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that reminds us of what truly matters. Share in the comments your own story of unexpected connections that changed your life. Remember, family isn't always what we're born into, sometimes it's what we find when we're busy making other plans.